Tyrod Taylor, a guy that's kind of become a Roto Street Journal favorite. Like we even those of us like myself that are not high on him have kind of grudgingly come around and admitted there's some real upside there. So, on our Stock Watch on the page on RotoStreetJournal.com, if you go to the Stock Watch tab, Tyrod Taylor distancing himself from Baker Mayfield, the Wolf's boy, regaining late round quarterback one appeal. Break that down for me.
Yeah, I think Tyrod Taylor is really the epitome of why we call this a stock market. We call this the stock watch because we've seen his value skyrocket when he first landed with the Browns, and then they signed Jarvis Landry, and I'm calling him, maybe even above Drew Brees in terms of upside, is how much I love Tyrod Taylor. Then they go and draft Baker Mayfield, the most pro-ready guy. His stock plummets. He's going to have a short leash. If he makes any mistakes, he's going to get pulled. You can't draft a guy and rely on a guy like that. Well, nowadays it sounds like the Cleveland Plain Dealer, they're saying number one overall pick Baker Mayfield did not look ready to compete with Tyrod Taylor. That Tyrod Taylor, more so, according to Haley and head coach Hugh Jackson, all these guys that are very important to the team, obviously, are saying he's the clear leader of this team, Tyrod Taylor is, that he's just going in before any other player. He's staying later than any player. He's organizing off-season workouts with all these guys, and everybody's bought in terms of teammates, in terms of coaches, and obviously you need to have that play remain consistent on the field for them to stay bought in. But I think Tyrod Taylor does that. I really like him as a quarterback. Got a strong arm. Obviously the mobility's there. He's a great decision maker. One of the lowest turnover percentages in the league, especially with a clean pocket. He only turned the ball over 1% of the time, which was best by Pro Football Focus. So the guy has all the intangibles. He's got a guy in Todd Haley that really knows how to squeeze the most out of his talent, that really will know how to work with all those aspects, especially the mobility I'm very intrigued by. And then again, you got Josh Gordon and Jarvis Landry on the outside, maybe the best wide receiver duo in the league if both their heads are on straight. The talent is there. The line is there for protection. The run game's going to be there to take pressure off. I think the whole setup is absolutely glorious. The only reason I didn't like Tyrod Taylor anymore was I thought he might lose that job to Baker Mayfield. It sounds like the leash is a lot longer now. So he's got that QB1 set up for at least, I'd say, until the Week 11 bye. But at this point, if he's this far ahead of Baker Mayfield, I imagine they let him play out the whole year, Tyrod Taylor, going at QB 27, 196 overall for that type of setup, that type of upside. It's an absolute no-brainer. I know I talked about liking Blake Bortles late, but if you're getting Tyrod Taylor in that same range, you got to go with the upside of Tyrod Taylor instead. I think he's the best last-round pick you can possibly make in fantasy football because he'll be a top 10 quarterback for most of the weeks that he plays.
I agree with you, but I will say I expect the market to correct itself as we get closer to draft day. I don't think there's any way he stays at quarterback 27 surrounded by the pieces he's surrounded by, and given his track record and how he can consistently use his legs to create fantasy points, stuff like that. I'll bet he ends up more around the quarterback 20 or even higher range by the time the draft comes along.
I agree with you too, but that's one of those points is he's so low now that even when the market correction happens, it's never even as high as it should be because he started so low. They could correct itself 30, 40 spots, and I still think Tyrod Taylor would be a great value.
I agree.
And I don't think we ever really see anybody jump up that much unless there's huge injuries or any of that stuff. So I agree with you. I think it's going to correct itself, but I think that the Baker Mayfield stench is going to linger, and he's going to still be an incredible value, even if you get him in round 15. I mean, this is some high-end talent with some great surrounding talent. A QB1 masked at a last round price. I love it.
I'm with you. All right.